webinar. So hi everybody, my name is Scott Parkin. I'm the Executive Chairman of the Institute of Employability Professionals. The reason I'm here today is we're going to conduct hopefully a relatively short, about 40 minutes webinar to discuss how you get the best value from your IEP membership. Both Rathbone and Intraining are what we call corporate affiliate partners of the IEP, which means that they pay for staff to get access to IEP's resources. And today I'm going to show you what those resources look like and how you can use those to both develop your own understanding of employability, of what Intraining and Rathbone do as an organisation, but also so those individuals either that you're serving as customers or that you help and support as advisors to customers will deliver the best possible services to them and enable them to move on with their lives. The IEP is here to do two things really, to enable that learning and development, but also to make sure that the wider population, the general public and government understand what it is that you do every single day as organisations and individuals to improve the lives of people who genuinely need that support to help them move on with their lives. So there's three sections to this. One is a little bit about the IEP, what it's all about and why we're here. The second section is for want of a better term, a show round, a demonstration of the IEP's website and how you can use the materials and the support services. And then the third thing is around what we see the future's going to look like, and that's around the new apprenticeship. And Intraining and Rathbone have been a fundamental part of helping develop that new apprenticeship, and we're very, very excited about what that's going to help us to achieve as a sector going forward. So there is a chat box, I've already said. I welcome all of you on board the webinar today, and I will now move into the presentation. So hopefully you can see this as we get going, and you should do. There we go. And hopefully you can all still hear me and you can see a presentation, which would be wonderful. So, as I say, I'm the Executive Chairman of the Institute of Employability Professionals. This is an organisation that's been around for about 6 years, and it was built to help support the continual professional development of those individuals that are working within the employability space. It's really interesting because employability has become a key word for those people working in careers, those people working in mentoring, coaching, even through to some professionals working in healthcare and social care. So we're really excited about what the future may well offer people within this space, both for their own personal career progression and how they can build networks and relationships with people to engender a better level of support for their customer base. Our vision is basically what it says on the tin. So we want to help customers get the best, or service users to get the best support possible. We do that through the incredible people that help support them. We do that with these kinds of organisations, and they're not just skills-based organisations, apprenticeship organisations, or employment support organisations. You can see there's a real mix of organisations that we work with. And there's a number of them, and you can see your organisations are on that sheet. If I need another half a sheet again to get all the organisations that we work with every year. And for those of you that are able to come to the AGM, which is next week, the 11th of October, on the ground floor in the Growth Companies building, Churchgate House, from 4 o'clock until 7, you will see all those other organisations present. We will have a new brochure for the annual general meeting, and you will learn some stuff, I hope, from Joseph's Roundtree Foundation and the Prince's Trust around how they see our sector and how they see it working. So once again, that's a shameless plug. The AGM on the 11th of October next week, between 4 and 7 in Manchester. Okay. And this is how we go about doing our work. So, the vision is there, it's quite clear. We want to make sure that individuals working within the sector and those that are supporting the individuals working in the sector are empowered. They understand that this is a fantastic profession. They understand that the outcomes that are provided change people's lives. This is really, really important work. We want to make sure that the general public and the government understand that employability is a fantastic profession. It's doing some great work, and it's making some real social and economic value and strides into that value for those people that need that support. That employers that are working in that sector understand the value and the contribution that employees make within that work. And then as we learn all these things and build a much bigger network, we want to make sure that people can get together, that they can help and share, that we can build something that everybody is helping each other to be better at what they do, and creating opportunities for people to work together effectively. And as I say, the AGM is part of that, and any of those learning networks that we do are part of that. Okay. So about 2 years ago, there was nothing wrong with the advisor model, by the way. I'm just saying that, and I'm sure everybody within Intraining and Rathbone is operating to this kind of activity now. But we saw the future being different. We saw things changing. We saw that I've worked for 25 years off and on throughout this sector, and when I first started, I was a terrible advisor, by the way, and some would say I'm not much better now, but we were always waiting for people to come to us. We were serving people who potentially supporting people who maybe didn't need as much help as those people that we help and support now. And so we had a thing a couple of years ago, and we came up with a number of headlines and some resource-based stuff around what we thought people might need to be. And I'm not going to labour this point, but what I am going to talk about really quickly is the fact that we understood quite early on that individuals would need other people's support to deliver great services to service users, to customers. They would need to be connected. They would need to be managing stakeholder relationships. They would need to be within a network. And that's really important. And ironically, there are a number of organizations operating now who, rightly or wrongly, I have no personal opinion about this, have moved away from the term, it even moved away from the term advisor. And some are calling people who caseload customers and support customers in that vein service managers, which is an interesting concept. And one that I think maybe the public might understand more. It's interesting, isn't it, that you talk about the word advisor, and then you talk to somebody who basically doesn't work in the sector. You might talk about you talk about an advisor, and then you talk about a coach and a mentor. It would strike me that most of people within the general public would understand what a coach and a mentor is, but might not really understand what an advisor is. And if they do understand what an advisor is, would they quality rate all three of those occupations in the same way? I don't know. And just to kind of, not get off my soapbox before now, too quickly. Everybody knows what a social worker is. And I appreciate social workers do deal with people and support people at real levels of crisis. But so do advisors within the employability sphere. But people in the general public would see a social worker as being a professional occupation because they go to university and they study to become a social worker. But whether they would see the same around an employability advisor or employability practitioners, we're starting to call the people in that field through the IEP. So it is interesting, people's concept about what happens and the value of what happens with people who are fundamentally disadvantaged and needing that support. So just onto the resources that are available then. We have a comprehensive website now. We have We've rebranded it, and you'll see that in a moment. It was quite old-fashioned before. We've hopefully making it easier. And hot off the press this week, the area around the knowledge bank, so the bit where all the learning is, has also been upgraded and rebranded. So the whole of this website learning fundamentals around how you gain access and that will have been completed, which I'm really pleased about. It's been a considerable amount of work since January, so it's but we are there now, and we have that. And as a member of the IEP, you can manage your profile, you can print your certificates, your membership cards, all those kinds of things, and you can gain access to all the things that you need. And clearly, for those of you that are on the list, which I would hope is all of you, you should be getting Employability Professional every week. There's lots of great articles and stuff that you can get involved in. And all I would say to you is, you know, you're all incredibly busy. I get that completely. But, you know, just pick and choose the things that you think are of interest to you and give it a go. You know, you're not going to be disappointed. You will find like-minded people who share both your wonder and pain and some of the things that you deal with every single day, and the things that you need to manage. And I mentioned the knowledge bank earlier, and that gives you some more information. We have these great 10 things guides which give you the basics around particular service user groups, customer groups, or particular environments in which you might be operating. And if you are a member of the IEP, you can track your CPD, so your continual professional development. And that means you get access to various different things within the website as a member. And really interesting there, particularly for those advisors who are working on the front line, there are bursaries, so free places to conferences linked to your own CPD, helping and supporting you get access to those things. And often people on the front line, and I mean by frontline advisor services, are not often afforded the opportunity to do that, not only because the cost is restricted, but also getting the time to do that. So we feel that by offering a free place, if we can communicate to the employer is often willing to enable people to go and access that learning. We have induction packs. Every single person will have done an in-company induction pack, but it just adds something to that, and it enables you to gain CPD points within the IEP to prove that you are learning and you are moving forward. Okay, and here's some examples of some of the stuff within the induction pack. I mean, really, really useful for very small organizations, but also as top-up to induction learning for larger organizations who may want something that that either fills some gaps or solidifies the learning that is already being delivered through the induction process. There is a jobs board. I expect every single person on the call today is really, really happy with where they work and very well supported and happy with their lot. But clearly there's an opportunity to access the jobs board. The great thing about that is it's only people working in the sector or and interested in the sector. And as an employer at Intraining and Rathbone, there's an opportunity to advertise jobs to a like-minded audience, people who are looking for work in the sector or are from outside the sector but related and are very interested in moving over. And I mentioned the IEP website upgrade, and that's what most of this conversation today is going to be about. Really good social link feed through that, a bit more like LinkedIn, feels a bit more conducive with how society works at the moment. Quite an old-fashioned process before, and now we have something that's really useful, and I'll show you, I'll demo that in a minute for you. And the updated knowledge bank layout may not be there today, but will be there by the end of the week. And as I say, that's the last section. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick tour around the website now. So I just have to do some jiggery pokery to switch over the share, if you don't mind. Bear with me just a second. Yeah, here we go. Apologize for that. It's sometimes just a little bit tricky to get to where we need to be. So I'm hoping you can see my my screen now. and you can see what we're trying to achieve here with this, this website demo. Okay, there we go. I think there's some challenge with my broadband at the moment, so I'm hoping you can see this. I might stop and then I might try and do that again. Just bear with me just a second. Yeah, here we go. This should work a bit better. Hopefully everyone can see that. So I just want to now tour you around the website and give you a really good understanding about what we need to, how this works. So, you know, this is a website like most other modern websites. Some really interesting information, some good visuals, some good scrolling. Hopefully it makes you want to join the IEP or focus on your professional development or anything like that if you're not already a member. Tells you a little about what it is. Some stuff around, hopefully I'm not making you dizzy, by the way, scrolling down here. Some stuff around the Knowledge Bank. Latest tweets, latest news, calendar events. You can see you're here. This is what we're doing now, which is great. Some great news stories you can click through on. Ways of joining and interacting with the IEP. So that's individual, that's businesses like Intraining and Rathbone. This is other strategic partners. And a really good section about how you can get involved. We want all your news. We're very, very positive about the sector. We want to know about the great things that you're doing, and we want to publicize that. It's really important that people understand what it is that you guys do every single day. It's really important. I want you to tell us what's working, and you can also ask the fellows of the IEP a question. It won't be corporate sensitive or specific. It may well be particular to a particular challenge that you're facing at the moment. Okay, and there's ways of getting involved with social media here at the bottom. None of what I've just told you is important. It just is a good place to start. I'm also going to, if I just show you this really quickly, here's the profile. I'm now going to sign out. So if you've not accessed this before, which you should have done because you should have had your signing in, this is what you will find. Quite limited, okay? But I'm going to sign in now. Thank goodness it recognizes my sign in. And now I'm signed in. What you wouldn't have had before is my CPD and my IEP. They wouldn't have existed on that before I signed in. And everything's now back in terms of profile feed and everything. Okay. Across the top, you have information, you have what IEP is about, our board of directors, the fellows of the IEP, some other stuff, IEP constitution there, what we're here to do, all of those things, yeah? You have ways of becoming a member if you're not already. There are other elements around the career progression. Really interesting work we've been doing this year with the help of Intraining and Rathbone around the new employability practitioner standards. That is going to be a level 4. It's going to come very, very soon, and it's fantastic. I mean, that's all I can say about it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that a bit later. Other ways to learn. There are already some standard qualifications within the sector. The induction certificates I mentioned earlier, and then some other stuff. The big thing is the Knowledge Bank, and I'll show you that in a moment. News and events, self-explanatory really, in essence, what are we doing? And then some stuff around my CPD and my IEP. I will also show you those in a moment. You can also gain direct access to the jobs board here. I'm going to click on that and go through because then we'll have that bit out the way, as it were. Okay. And you can see there's one section for employers and one section for those people who are looking for a job or a change in role or whatever. If you're a job seeker, you can manage your account, you can put resume, CVs up there, you can do some specific job searching. Clearly you can add job alerts and things like that to make sure you get things coming through your inbox if you're interested. As an employer, you can post jobs, you can manage your account, manage those people that have applied for work, you can do your interview scheduling, you can do all the things you need. And as a corporate affiliate partner, Intraining and Rathbone get a very, very big discount on advertising roles there. I think actually it's enough, it's as much as 50% discount as a corporate affiliate partner. So that's always nice to have. If I went to post a job, that will really quickly come up with the packages that you can purchase through that. But I don't want to labor that. The most important thing here is what we're doing to support those people using the site. At any time that you're outside of the homepage, if you click back on the logo of the IEP, you will come back to the homepage, which is really useful. Okay, so let's talk about the knowledge bank now. Within the knowledge bank, you have different guides. You have the induction pack, as you can see there. I'm going to go into the guides. I'm going to pick one here. These are not to create specialists. These are to create people who understand what an issue may well be and how to support a person better, maybe for the first time that you've ever done that. So if I just show you the dyslexia and dyspraxia one, because this is a really good example of something that is written by a third-party organisation that is a specialist within that environment. So this is provided for by Genius Within, and every single one of these is done by what we would consider to be a specialist organisation within that field. And it tells you a little bit about what that is, dyslexia and dyspraxia, what some of the strengths and weaknesses are there, some statistics around some really interesting stuff, and then top 10 tips for employability professionals. So that what you need to be aware about, what circumstances of the environment you might need to provide for, and how you should go about communicating with people who have these challenges. Let me pick another one there just to move along quickly, if it will move along quickly. Young adult carers was written to us by the Learning Work Institute. They have quite a good policy unit around carers. It's really interesting how disadvantaged people are who need to care for family or friends who are young, and how often both society and benefit rules kind of get in the way of actually helping people progress their lives. And then there's some really good information around what you need to do in that environment for those individuals. And lastly, I'll pick one more. I think there was one here around 10 things to employment advice that work in employment advice. This is probably our latest one. And VRC have a really interesting concept around training, developing advisors. And it's mainly around that relationship management, motivational techniques, and really importantly, building trust and delivering services that are ethical and provide for an ethical situation. Did a big study very recently around migrants and refugees in southern countries within Europe. And, you know, the ethical question comes up: if an individual needs to feed themselves and the family and there's very little support, how would you support somebody who says they are going to get a job when you fundamentally know that that is illegal? And, you know, there are no fine defined answers to this. This is something that the groups of people help and support and come up with the solutions themselves. And obviously a case-by-case basis needs to be provided for. I don't want to labour on that at all, but I just wanted to give you some examples of the things there. And they have some real value there, some really interesting stuff. The induction pack I've already stated here. Let's pick one of these. Let's do challenging extremism. It's quite an interesting guide. When you click through to these induction guides, you will see that there is a CPD program for that and a facilitators pack. So you can do these in groups or you can do them individually. Whatever you think is right. You go all the way down, lots and lots. I don't want to make people dizzy, so I'm sorry, but lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of information. And then there is a slide deck. The PowerPoint slides are available here. So the slide deck you can access there. Once you've done the learning, you can go to the examination here. I won't do the exam because I might fail and it'd be very embarrassing online. You begin it there. Once you've recorded a positive result, then you can record that on your CPD, your Continual Professional Development, My CPD. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Okay. So that's, I could show you another induction guide. I think, you know, they're all very similar with those different elements of learning. Once you've recorded onto your My CPD, you can also print your annual CPD certificate, and I'll show you what to do there in a moment. Okay. If I just click through to the knowledge bank, you will see how it is at the moment. It's quite old-fashioned, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different articles and different pieces of learning. It is eminently searchable, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment, but what we're trying to achieve is something that's more like the front page of the website. So there will be 7 bullet buttons that will enable you to have a better chance of seeing where you think something might be. There's learning development policy and comment, news from the sector, news from the IEP, that kind of stuff. So, you know, and that should come by the end of this week. So I'm really keen to get your thoughts and views once that lands about how that works for you. Okay. And so that's the knowledge bank. And as I say, that is changing. If we go back to the home page, you'll see here, this is how it's going to look, more like this. So we're really excited about that final piece in the jigsaw and making sure that we have something that's fit for purpose for you. Now, moving on to my CPD. There is the program. You can track certificates. You can track your own CPD. So I'm just going to go into that section now. Okay. Apologies. I don't seem to have the time that I should. I don't know why this is flashing, so please forgive me. I don't know why this is doing what it's doing. That is rather off-putting, isn't it? Let me see if I can go through another way. I think it's because I linked up my social feed to it the other day, and for whatever reason, it didn't like it. So I put a ticket into the website developers to make sure that this doesn't happen. So back to what I was saying, apologies again that my annual CPD certificate is not up to date. That means that I can't print mine for you because it will only allow you to do it once you have enough points. I can guarantee you that I do enough things around the IEP to be more than compliant with the requirement for CPD within the IEP to remain a member. But this clearly is not showing that at the moment. So massive apologies there. But it's very easy to access. You can add an entry here. You pick from a drop down about what it is. You then supply the points. If it's something that's extracurricular that isn't within the drop down list, then there is a basis of trust there. And we do randomly check every single year people's CPD entries to make sure that people are not doing what they shouldn't do. And clearly you only retain IEP membership for that year if you are active and engaged. And why wouldn't you be when you get to meet some incredible people as incredible as you to engender and to support each other to make services better. So that's what you would do. There's lots of stuff here on profile, and I'm hoping this isn't going to keep flashing now. Okay. I don't want to kind of go too far down this, but yes, it is going to flash. So I apologize for that. It won't do on yours because you haven't entered in the social feed. Right. Hopefully we've stopped it for now. I won't scroll down too much, but everything with a red asterisk next to it is not visible by anyone else. So it's very safe. You can also manage your connections from here. So you can create connections with people. You can build your connection profile. You can ask for people who you want to converse with, and only those people who you have agreed to be with you in this setting, will be able to see your stuff and you then. It's a very, very safe way of networking. And you can build groups. We can build groups for you. You can build groups. There might be specific professionals within your employ that it might be useful for a particular office, a particular setting, a particular group of outreach workers or whatever. And that's really useful. We can help you do that, or you can do that yourself within the thing. And lastly, on this piece, there is the opportunity to view your feed. So this is very much like a LinkedIn feed. And I apologize once again for this nonsense. I may have to do this through another way. Okay. Bear with me a second. Let me see if the feed here, because you can do all of these things around here as well, works any better. Okay. Clearly something I need to fix. And when you're doing a live demonstration, these things might happen. They say you should never work with children and animals. I think you should never work with IT either, in terms of trying to show people how things work. You will have to trust me that the feed looks exactly like this. And I'm now going to show you. On my phone, I have lots of rubbish, but I also have something called Social Link, the SL, the app is. Okay, there you go. And the sign-in credentials are exactly the same on the website, and you will find that that is the social feed. And it's quite long and varied and hopefully of real interest. And you post comments and put photos and do all of the things that you would do maybe in a LinkedIn feed. And that is normally replicated on your desktop. But what it means is that if you carry the app on your smartphone, you can do all of these things on the move. So no longer you're setting time aside, you can do it while you're making a coffee, you can update, you can tell us a great story about somebody. And that's really, really important. So I encourage you to use your credentials that you've been given for the website and download the app if you have. It works on both Android and iOS. Download the app and get starting to network and building that connection with people. It's really, really important. Okay. And on my IEP, which is the last of the drop downs there that we've said, you can see your membership certificate. You can download and print it. I've just clicked on view your certificate. That's me. So there we go. Okay. I can also pay my membership fees, which is always good. I can edit my profile. I can claim tax relief on my membership. My membership is £200 a year because I'm very proud to be a fellow of the IEP, and you can claim tax relief on that. You can put ideas and you can take member surveys, things like that. So there's lots and lots of stuff you can do there, and you can manage your connections and stuff through there as well. Okay. If you look at just really quickly, I'm just trying to find where we need to be. Yeah, here we go. At the moment, these are the points that you can gain by doing things. And we are expanding this at the moment. Currently, you need 50 points per year to remain a member of the IEP. We will be extending that, and by the end of next year, we will be probably around about 100 points a year. I mean, look here, it's not hard. You do a couple of conferences or some networking events or something like that, and you can build that quite easily. And we encourage people to do more and record it more, even though, I've already said I've not done that, and I do apologise for that. But there's the expectation, and anything else you need to know, there's a really good opportunity to contact us there. Okay, and the social link feeds are here as well. We have our dedicated YouTube channel, which we're building at the moment. We're quite active on Twitter and relatively active on LinkedIn as well. So great opportunity to get engaged, great opportunities to do, to learn and to help other people learn what people are doing. Okay, so I think that's kind of the show around of the website. That's how it works. Very, very straightforward, like most other modern websites. And hopefully you can see the benefit of engaging with that and seeing how what's available and tapping into those resources. And as I say, by the end of the week, there will be in an even better state, a much more usable state. Oh, I did say I'll show you how to search criteria. I'm going to search for motivational interviewing. And as you can see, a number of articles, and it's flashing again, but a number of articles. Stop that doing. Anyway, you would get a list if it was working. Let me try again. And you can see here are the articles that mention motivational. And what would normally do is you click through and the page would bring all those up in a list. But anyway, they're all there. There's an easy way of clicking through to them. You can see that. So it's eminently searchable. It just will be in a format that works better for you. Okay, I'm going to stop the website share now. And I'm going to come back to the presentation. Only be about another 5 minutes now, and we will be able to conclude. You should get every single Monday Employability Professional. It's a great resource telling you what's going on in the sector, what we're up to, but also give you some really interesting articles to read and to digest and then get further reading from. And this is kind of what it looks like. It's slightly more modernized from some of these pictures, but this is kind of the idea. Okay. And so I told you what we thought the future was going to be like. I told you a little bit about the IEP and what we hope to achieve and what we're expecting to achieve. And then I told you we would give you a show around the website, and sorry about the stickiness of that, and that will get fixed very soon now. And then I told you what I thought the future would hold. And this is the future. For the last year to 18 months, we've been developing an apprenticeship trailblazer. It happens to be at level 4. It's a capability assessment. It's up to 24 months long, although some people will be able to achieve it in 13 months. It is levy funded, which is fantastic, and it's funded well, or at least will be funded well. We see a real opportunity for the general public to see fundamentally that people operating in the space are have achieved a professional level of capability. Although we know that everybody working in the space is fantastic, and some have already achieved a good level of qualification, but some haven't. And you know, we are kind of progressing that. I don't want to labour any of this. I just want to tell you what's going on. So with over 100 employers, we built this Trailblazer apprenticeship over that time. Once again, Rathbone and Intraining have been an integral part in doing that. And we feel it's very important for the sector. So we submitted our assessment criteria and assessment plan and the draft standards in August to the Root panel, the Institute for Apprenticeships. They came back to us and said, with a couple of minor tweaks, the standard is ready. But we do need to work on the endpoint assessment plan. So we're doing that currently at the moment with the group. That will be resubmitted in November. But that means that this apprenticeship standard will be available from the beginning of 2019. We're working with endpoint assessment organisations at the moment to get them on board and to understand what's required. The IEP is going to become the EQAO, which is the External Quality Organisation. And we're really excited about what that means. We need to do some testing with potential apprentices. We need the IFA to finally send it off, and we expect that towards the end of November now. And we did say originally in this presentation we're likely to go live in October, but we weren't expecting the EPA plan would require a great deal of work. It doesn't require a great deal of work, but for whatever reason, there's not another opportunity to submit that until the middle of November. So we have to follow that kind of diary and schedule, which means that our schedule's a little bit out. It's probably going to be November, early December now when it's done. But we have been working on this 18 months. We kind of think, you know, a month between friends is not necessarily a disaster. Okay. So I've talked about what the IEP is about. I've given you a show around the website. I've talked about what I think the future of learning within the sector is. And I'm hoping that that has really helped you to get to where we need to be. And I'm just trying to get out of that there and get out of that there. That's it, and I'm here. I'm back here now. So hopefully you can see me on full screen, which is not always a great thing. But anyway, I hope that's been of interest to you. I hope that's given you a good understanding about the kinds of things that you can get and how you can use that to help both yourself and others, particularly those customers that you're serving. We know we have fantastic people working in the sector. You know, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't believe that there's some great people out there. But I'm also a firm believer that we're always learning. We're always doing things that enhance what we do. And the IEP is there to help that. And yes, we want people to be constantly recognised as being professionals in this space. And you know, it's really, really, really important for us that people, the general public and particularly government commissioners, get the whole principle around the fact that people are professionals working in this space and doing a fantastic job that really improves people's lives and enhances their ability to become more independent And I'm a great believer personally in the fact that people should be able to and have the support to make a social and economic contribution to society. And the only way we do that is by programs and facilities and support and services, the like of which Rathbone and Intraining deliver. So it's really important. And anyone's got any more questions, the chat box is still available. Anybody's got any questions after this, my email address is very easy to find. I do respond very, very quickly, and I hope to see you all at the AGM, and I hope to see you all at there's a networking event in November in Manchester as well. And all I would do is encourage you to get actively involved and to just to talk to us, and to engage. Really, in essence, that's the point. We're trying to create a volume membership here. There's no doubt. We want as many people as possible. It's increasing every single day. But more importantly, we're trying to create a movement. We want people to really understand what it is that people do and to value that. So anyway, Sue's asked, is there a cost to us for membership? The services you are supported with at the moment are no cost to yourself, because Intraining and Rathbone provide for funding to be a corporate affiliate partner of the IEP. If you want to be an individual member, Sue, there is a charter cost, but it is far less than £1 a week. So it's very, very accessible. So if you want to send me an email, we can talk about that. And anybody else that wants to do that, or wants more information about membership. But today this was about making sure that you understood what you get and how you can be supported for free for you, and to make sure that you just start using the stuff and hopefully feeding back and enabling us to build something that's better and better and better. Okay. So thank you very much to everyone. It's been a real pleasure talking to you today. Please share the story with your colleagues. The video will be available very soon. I'll send that over to those people that I've been conversing with in the organisation, and so will the presentation slides. So share that as widely as possible, and don't forget the AGM next week, the 11th of October, 4 o'clock until 7. You will find it will be a really, really great experience. And thanks to all of you.